Hey everybody, welcome to Android Operating System Basics. Just simply 10 minutes. You can't see me, you can only hear me, but off screen I have my little timer going, and I'm going to start my timer for 10 minutes right now. So we're going to take a look at the Android screen. You're in the Android screen right now. How do you know that? When you swipe up from the bottom of the ClearTouch panel, you can see that I have HDMI 1, and I also have Android, and right now the blue circles around Android. So I'm in Android. Since I have these settings up, I can change the volume from here. I can also use the brightness. I have my blue light on, which helps with my eyes, so I can do that. When you hit these three dots up here, you'll see that you can mess around with the audio a little bit. If I go to screen, there's not much that I can do with that besides turn some things on and off. Some of these are turned off based on our command structure that we have. The display is turned off and the adjust is turned off, but I can fool around with the audio. We have found out if you turn the audio up too high, it will blow out the speakers. That happened in a particular situation. Some other things just on the home screen here, make sure your time and date are right. If they're not, if you tap on that, it'll bring you to the updates. Automatic time and date should be on, this little toggle in the upper right. It should be on and it will automatically keep that right. If it's not, check that, because that can mess up your browser settings. So first thing I want to show you is the Chrome browser. So I have the Chrome browser here. If you do not have the Chrome browser on your Android, that's something that allows you to use this as a web page. You can see I have some websites up here, like ClearTouch. I got ESPN up here. I'm going to hit the home button to go back. If you don't have the Chrome browser, check in the grid in the bottom right. So I'm touching on this grid in the bottom right and see if it's there. You can drag apps onto the front page by just simply holding them, and you have 8 spots to put them, or actually 10 spots to put them. So that's one there. If you have an app on the front page that you don't like, you can simply hold it and drag it up to remove it. You're not deleting it, you're just moving it there. If you don't have the Chrome browser though, I would suggest going to the ClearTouch store. It should be one of the first things that comes up. It's over here. It's the one for 6000K plus. Most of the classroom ones are 6000K plus. When I tap on that, it'll tell me, do I want to open it? Do I want to update it? And if you don't have it on your Android side, you'll see install. And it installs pretty quickly there. So that's the basic screen. Now I want to show you this floating toolbar, which exists both on the Android side and on your PC side, but this is the Android. You have some buttons here. The top one is the back button. So let's say I was in Note. I was doing a session on the remote earlier today, and I want to go back to the last thing I was doing. I can hit that. It'll ask me if I want to save it. I want to save that, and it takes me back to the last thing I was doing. Why is that handy? Well, that's handy if I'm opening up something in Android and I need to go back to the last thing that I did. So if I had a presentation open or something like that, that back button is nice. One of the criticisms of the Android side sometimes is when we're in something like, hey, how do I get out of this? How do I get back to the home screen? Well, that's that home button that I have right over here. That's the second button down. I'm going to hit that, and it always brings me home. You also have that button on your remote as well. Next thing I want to show you are the processes. So if I hit this third button down, it looks like a little kind of couple of squares sticking out. This is going to bring up all the things that I currently have running on the Android side. And yes, if you have a lot of them running, it will slow the Android side down. No different than your phone, your Apple phone or your Android phone. I can clear them all out by touching the upper right corner where it says clear all. I can also get rid of them just by simply hitting the X and getting rid of them one at a time. So it's nice to have some coming up or staying up there so I can go back and forth between them pretty easily. So if I wanted to move from the ClearTouch store to Chrome, I can simply touch Chrome and it comes up. I can hit that processes again and move over to Note. So that's kind of a nice little button to have when you're using the Android side of the panel. Okay, couple buttons down, the chorus button. If yours says Canvas, I'm going to pick up the pen here and circle this right here. Where's my pen tool here? Let's try that again. Where's she at? There she is. If this right here says Canvas, your panel needs to be updated. Contact tech so they can do that. It should say Chorus now. The name was changed. So Chorus is not only here, but it also is here. And it appears on the Android side of the panel as well, which is nice. It's a green button there. It's got a little kind of looks like a little kind of splash swipe. When I hit that, it will open up a whiteboard. So if you're on your PC side and you need to write something really quick, you simply hit that button. It's going to bring you to a whiteboard. You can do all your writing here. And then when you're done to go back to whatever you were doing, you simply use that kind of reddish black back button all the way up at the top. So I'm going to hit that, and it's going to bring me back. So that is really a neat feature of the Android side, to have that whiteboard at your touch. Okay, pen tool, my all-time favorite one. You have 4 colors for pen. You have 4 colors for brush. If you want to change those, hit the spread button and setting. And you can change the colors by simply changing. Let's say I wanted to get rid of this blue and get a darker one. Click it off, click it back on. Now when I cycle through, that's there. So I can also control the thickness of these as well, which is nice. And then there are a few other buttons that you might not know. Any writing that I do, I can save. So if I were to write something on the board and I wanted to save this, I can hit save, and you can see the save button up in the corner here. And then it says save success. It tells me where it saved it to, that file there, and I can open it from there. Where did it go? It went here into, oh, gotta close this first. It went into your Finder. I'm gonna put Finder on the front screen there. Your Finder is where anything that you saved, and it told me it went into the Mark folder. So there's the Mark folder there. I'm gonna double click on that, and there is what I did right there. So that's kind of nice to have. I'll go back home again. I'm going to continue with the buttons and the pen button. I do want to show you a couple other things too with this. You can connect your Google Drive if you'd like. It'll save whatever the screen is. If I hit the plus button, I can connect Google Drive to this and then save these things to my drive as I write. All my writings can get saved to Drive, which allows you to share them pretty easy. Another way to share them, I'm going to write something. I'm going to hit this share button. It's going to save it automatically for me. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, whammo. Oh, I did not have the timing. There's my QR code, which is really neat. Okay, it comes up. Kids can scan it and take your notes that you wrote with them. They also can use their Chromebooks to scan this, because there is a Chromebook QR code scanner in their camera. So that's kind of nice. Let's get rid of that pen tool and look at the last couple buttons here. I have a freeze button, which is this one right here. I'm going to bring up my pen tool here. So I have a freeze tool right there. I have also some tools with the little gear there. I have spotlight, countdown, stopwatch, and we're going to be doing a separate session on the Air Class tool. A little much with that. I also have my inputs. So when I swipe up, I can get them, or I can get them from the input button, which is the slider that's right over here. And I have the ability to record what I'm doing on the screen. So I hit that record button. It says, don't record anything that you don't have permissions to. Bring my pen up. I'm going to do a little writing, and then I'm going to exit. And eventually it's going to tell me where that recording is saved. I can go into my Finder. Got to close this. Go into my Finder, and you can see I have some media recordings. Ooh, let me go back here. Where are my recordings? There's my record. Tap on that, and my recording will be there. Looks like I did not record one long enough for it to stay there, so that's a bad thing. One more button I can tell you about this, the little button at the bottom. People ask me about this all the time. This is the kind of raise and lower button of your panel. Unfortunately, we don't have motorized raise carts here, but that would be the button that controls that. Okay. Got about a minute left to the 10, and I want to show you a trick. And one of the most asked about questions that I get when I do Android Basics is, I like these screensavers. How do I change them? Well, there's 2 ways to change the screensaver. One of the ways to change the screensaver is to hold your finger down anywhere on the panel outside the buttons and the time, and you'll see widgets come up, which really don't work that well, but wallpapers are here, and I can change these wallpapers. But then I have people tell me, well, what if I want my wallpaper to be something other than what's here? Well, there is a trick to that, and I'm going to show you that in our last part of our session here, since we're running out of time. So I'm going to go into the Chrome browser. let's say I have this beautiful picture of this panel and I want this panel to be my screensaver here. Okay, it's a ridiculous picture, but I could search for anything. Start point schools, beach scenes, whatever. I'm going to hold my finger on this. You can't see me doing this, but I'm going to hold my finger and I'm going to download this image. Okay, it's going to tell me where it is. Looks like I downloaded it more than once. I'm going to go to home. And now I'm going to go into this Finder. I'm going to find that download in the download folder. And there are the pictures. So I'm going to take that picture. I'm going to double tap on it. It's going to open it up for me. Now it looks like I can't do anything with it. Wrong again. If I just tap on the screen one time, this menu appears along the bottom. And if I hit settings, which is the second from the left, a setting will come up that allows me to what? Set it to wallpaper. So I'm going to touch that. I'm going to hit set. It's going to spin. Now when I go back home, oops. Look at the background. It's whatever I set it to be. So you do have control over your background. Beware, images that are light will make the time kind of disappear. So use those. So thanks for joining me for the Android Basics. If you have any questions on this, please respond to the email that you received the recording from, and I will answer them. You might be looking at this on the Superintendent's Conference Day. I hope you enjoy your day and have some great wellness.